Hello friends, in this particular video we will learn enhancement type of MOSFET, that is second type of MOSFET after depletion type of MOSFET. Now we will learn the symbolic representation of enhancement type of MOSFET, construction of enhancement type of MOSFET and working of enhancement type of MOSFET in two categories. Okay, so let's start. Whenever we have to learn enhancement type of MOSFET, this is the symbolic representation of enhancement type of MOSFET, where this D represents drain, this G represents gate and S represents source, and SS, which is shorted with source, is called as substrate or body over which whole the enhancement type of MOSFET is formed, or I can say fabricated. Okay, so let us start with the exact working of and construction of that particular enhancement type of MOSFET. So let us understand the properties of enhancement type of MOSFET first. We'll just be familiar with enhancement type of MOSFET, then we'll move towards the construction of enhancement type of MOSFET, and then we'll look out at the proper working of enhancement type of MOSFET. So first of all, we all know that this enhancement type of MOSFET is of 4-terminal device. This is 4-terminal device. One is drain, then source, then gate, and another fourth one is substrate, or I can say that it's called as body. Okay, so first one is drain, second one is source, third one is gate, and another one is substrate or body. Now the main khasiyat of this enhancement type of MOSFET, why it is different than that of depletion type of MOSFET, this is because channel is not yet formed, so we have to create the channel. Okay, so channel is not formed, rather we have to induced by induced carrier in the silicon oxide interface. Okay, so we have to induce the channel, and that channel we have to induce the channel, and that particular channel is called as inversion layer. We have learned the three processes: accumulation, depletion and inversion, right? So after the inversion, whatever layer we will be getting at the oxide semiconductor interface, that is called as channel, and for that obviously we require the voltage has to be supplied at the gate terminal. So if we apply gate terminal potential as a positive, then and only then we will be getting the negative channel, right? So only whatever enhancement type of MOSFET we will be getting, that is nothing but your N type enhancement type of MOSFET, or it is called as N channel MOSFET. This will be N channel enhancement type of MOSFET. Okay, so let us move towards the construction of the enhancement type of MOSFET. Okay, so A part is construction. As far as enhancement type of MOSFET general structure is concerned, that will be same. Okay, so this will be your N plus, rather I should have to draw the first layer, that is nothing but your, I should have to draw the first layer, that is your P type semiconductor, that is nothing but the base layer over which we fabricate the enhancement type of MOSFET. Okay, so over this P layer we dope N type impurity in heavy dose, that's why plus is written over here. Okay, and that terminal is either drain or source, and exactly at the opposite side we will dope same material of N type impurity. Okay, and now here channel will get induced, okay, due to external supply. So I'm assuming that I have done with that operation of accumulation, depletion and inversion, and after that whatever MOSFET I will be getting, that is nothing but your enhancement type of MOSFET. So just over this particular channel I have one oxide layer, that is insulator in the MOS structure, and over that insulator I have the metal structure. So this metal structure is for contact of gate terminal. So this is basically gate terminal, this contact is for source terminal, and this contact is for gate terminal, this contact is for source terminal, and this contact is for drain terminal, and here I will be getting the channel. Hold on, this is not the complete construction of enhancement type of MOSFET. If you look carefully, this is N plus, that is heavily doped N type of silicon semiconductor layer, and this is P type, moderately doped semiconductor layer of P type. So if we take this particular area, so in this particular area one diode will get generated, right? So once N and P type is joined each other, then I can say that yes, junction will get formed, and that in that particular junction depletion layer will get formed. So I will say that I will get another layer that is called as depletion layer. So depletion layer is nothing but the ions with depleted carriers, so ions with extracted carriers I can say, okay. So we will say that this is nothing but your depleted carriers, okay. So we will name one by one. This is your depletion region, right, and this depletion region is nothing but ions with depleted carriers, okay. So these are nothing but ions with these carriers, can be electron, can be holes, okay. So if we change the type of silicon semiconductor, then your whole MOSFET type will get changed, okay. Then this is your channel, this is your channel, or I can say that it's nothing but your inversion layer. This is channel and this is your inversion layer, okay. Whatever we'll be getting over here, and that is nothing but your oxide layer. This is your oxide layer. Generally the thickness of this oxide layer, okay, so we will write it over here, thickness of the oxide layer is in the terms of 0.1 micron, 0.1 micrometer, okay. So and that is denoted as TOX, because OX for oxide and T for thickness, okay. So this TOX is equal to, nearly equal to 0.1 micrometer, okay. The question arises, if this is the oxide layer, okay, then is this MOS structure? Yes, where this particular part is nothing but your metal, okay. So I can say that this is M, this is O, and this is S, okay. So MOS forms your MOS structure, and here side mein whatever I have doped is nothing but your source and drain, okay. Fine. So as far as construction is concerned, that is completed, okay. Understand that drain and source always and always heavily doped, because through that I want current to be flow, or I can say that charge carriers to be flown in this particular region, right. I have used this P type with a moderate region because I don't want carriers to flow inside that particular P region, okay. I want the current path from drain to source and source to drain respectively for carriers as well as your current, okay. So as far as thickness of oxide layer is concerned, due to this thickness I will get one major property, that is nothing but the capacitance, okay. metal and the semiconductor channel, right? So this channel will act as one of the parallel plate of the capacitor, and this metal plate is another plate of the capacitor, and in between that I will be getting the oxide layer, which will act as a dielectric. Okay, so this MOS basically act as capacitor. Okay, so MOS also acts as capacitor. Okay, so whereas this capacitor used in the with the formula of thickness of oxide layer, because as thickness of oxide layer increases, your value of the capacitance will decreases, right? Because we all know that कि capacitor का value is nothing but epsilon A divided by T. Okay, so we will not assume the 3D fundamental, we will not assume the 3D formula, we will use the value of capacitor, that is Cox is equal to epsilon ox divided by T ox, whereas epsilon ox is nothing but the dielectric permittivity of medium in the oxide layer. For example, if you are using silicon dioxide, that is SiO2, it will be having a particular dielectric parameter, electric permittivity in the medium of SiO2, and that is called as epsilon ox. Okay, so we'll say that this is nothing but your electric permittivity of oxide. Okay, now whenever we are learning for Tox, this Tox is obviously thickness of oxide layer. So if we want more and more value of the capacitance, then what I will do, I will just reduce the value of the thickness. So I can say that Cox is inversely proportional to the value of the thickness of the oxide layer. Okay, so far we have discussed the construction of the enhancement type of MOSFET. Let us move towards the working of the MOSFET. Okay, I'm purposely changing the names after few slides. Working of MOSFET, and in bracket I have written as E type. E means enhancement type, D type means depletion type. Okay, so in your exam they may ask you E type MOSFET or D type MOSFET, then you should not get confused with that particular term. Okay, so keep this in mind that E type means enhancement type of MOSFET and D means depletion type of MOSFET. So let's move towards the working of MOSFET. Okay, so we will do the working of MOSFET along with the characteristics of MOSFET. Okay, so this working we will divide into two parts. One is we will keep the value of VDS constant and we will change the value of VGS. Okay, so considering that channel is already get formed and now my operation will get start. So before forming the channel, I cannot flow the charge carriers from source to drain and I will not be having any current in my MOSFET device. Okay, so working of MOSFET before the before the channel, that will be no current. Okay, so even if you change the value of voltage, I will not be getting any current. Okay, so in that case, when channel is not existing, so only we will understand this particular working, considering the fact that channel is already exist. Okay, so we'll write it over here, considering that channel is formed, or I can say in technical word we will write it as channel is induced. Channel is formed and channel is induced due to the external supply voltage at the gate terminal, that is VG, with respect to source or substrate, if source and substrate is shorted. Okay, so the first working condition is we will keep VGS variable and it is positive, right? It should be positive, but it should be variable. Okay, so I am taking its variable, and VDS is equal to constant, but it is also positive. So my conditions are I'm keeping VGS as positive, but it is variable, and VDS is also constant, but it is positive, but it is constant. Okay, so let us draw this MOSFET and we will see how it will work. Okay, this is N plus, N plus, this is completely base, that is P type. Then I can say here I will be getting oxide layer, and below that I will be getting a channel where all the electrons are present. That forms a channel. Moreover, we will be getting the depletion region. Here we will be getting the depletion region, that is nothing but the ions depleted of carriers. That means forms a PN junction towards the drain, in between drain and substrate, and in between source and substrate. Okay, so this is nothing but your contact for drain, contact for source. Source is directly connected to the substrate, right? I have kept this drain constant, but it is positive. Okay, now what I am dealing with gate, I am keeping gate positive, right? So the value of VG is positive. Okay, now what will happen? Let us start the operation when VGS is positive and it is variable, VDS is positive and it is constant. Okay, so let's name this VD as VDS, because S is nothing but the source, which is shorted with substrate. Substrate is also connected with the negative of the external battery, which is connected to the drain terminal. So this is nothing but VDS. What will happen? Let us start the function. Okay, as this VGS, one more very important fact, that even if VGS is positive, okay, that VGS should be greater than your threshold voltage where your channel is getting formed. Okay, so understand the fact that here I am saying that we will be getting the characteristics of the MOSFET. Okay, my value is nothing but VGS on the x-axis, and ID, that is drain current, is nothing but on y-axis. Okay, I'm just changing the value of VGS. Let's start from 0 to particular threshold voltage. Even if I'm changing, keeping VDS constant and positive, then also channel will not get formed, because unless I get the value of VGS is equal to VTH, I will not get any formation of the layer just below the oxide semiconductor interface. Okay, so till that particular point I will not get the value of the current, even if I'm increasing the value of VGS up to certain voltage, and that certain voltage is called as VTH, that is threshold voltage. Now what will happen after threshold voltage? Okay, so after threshold voltage I'm just increasing the value of VG. Okay, I'm just increasing the value of VG, I'm keeping VDS constant. Increasing the value of VG will lead to have attraction force or attractive force for the electrons towards the VG. But at the same time, keep this in mind that VDS, that is drain terminal, drain potential, is also positive, so electrons will also get attracted towards the drain and also get attracted towards the gate side. Okay, so if drain is more dominant, then I can say that yes, electrons will move towards the drain side, and here in actual case, once channel get formed at this particular voltage VTH, after that if you increase the value of VG, your acceleration of the electron from the source will be increasing, because electron will get attractive force, electrostatic attraction from gate as well as drain, and this gate and drain are situated exactly at the right hand side of this source. So at the same side I'm getting the force, which is attractive force. Okay, so electrons will get more and more velocity, more and more kinetic energy, so the current will also increases, and this incremental current will be in the square law. Okay, so we'll follow the square law. So whatever current I will be getting, that current, let's say it's nothing but the ID. This current will continuously increase, keeping VDS constant. So for particular value of VDS, I will be getting that particular incremental value of the current. So if I change the value of VDS and again I will keep it constant, for example, I will keep the value of VDS is K1, right? And then I will change the value of VDS to K2 and it'll keep again constant. Okay, so the graph will change and the graph will look like this. Okay, but the nature of this graph will be same. So here I can say that this VDS is equal to K2, right? So we have understood that VGS increases, ID increases. Fine. What happens in this particular region of depletion layer? Understand the fact that Vg is positive, Vs is 0, so there is no neither attraction or nor repulsion, right? There will not be attraction as well as repulsion when I'm considering this source and substrate junction. Okay, but if I consider gate and substrate junction and drain and substrate junction, then there is something called as a reverse bias situation. Then what will happen exactly? Here, as I'm increasing the value of VDS, because positive is connected to negative and this P is connected to the negative of the power supply external connected, right? So this forms your reverse bias condition in the diode. So here obviously my diode is getting formed and this diode will provide the reverse bias condition. Okay, so this forms your reverse bias condition. This reverse bias will increase the value of the width of the depletion region near the drain terminal. Okay, so but the source terminal width will remain as it is. So as I'm moving the value of the VDS towards more positive, then I will be getting more and more value of the thickness of this particular junction as I'm increasing the value of the VDS. So question arises, will my width increases towards the source region? No. This is very important question will be bombarded in your mind, that in your Viva question, why drain side will get more and more incremental value of this depletion region width and not at the source region. So how you have to answer, as depletion region increases its width due to its reverse bias condition, and the reverse bias condition only get formed near the drain region, and that's why your width will increase towards the drain region as well. This is because reverse bias condition happens only at the drain terminal and not at the source terminal. Okay, so keep this question in your mind, right, and answer it very properly. So this is how we have completed your first part of your working of enhancement type of MOSFET. Okay, we will move further for the second type of working, where we will keep your VGS constant, right, and we will vary the value of VDS, and let's study how my value of the current from drain to source will get changed. Okay, so let us study the second type of working, that is VGS is equal to, or I can say VGS is greater than VTH, okay, and I can say that obviously it should be positive for N channel MOSFET, okay. Whenever we will learn this VDS, we are considering positive side only and it is varying, okay. So here in this case we will just discuss VGS greater than VTH, but it is positive for N channel. VDS is positive and it is varying, okay. So again we will do the same thing. This is your source, this is your drain, this is the substrate, this is your channel which is already getting formed, okay. This is your oxide layer, and over which we will be getting the contact for the gate, which is nothing but the metal part of MOS structure. This is gate, this is contact for source, and this is contact for drain. So this is contact for drain, this is contact for source, and this is contact for gate. This is P-type semiconductor, that is the base of enhancement type of MOSFET. Here we will say we'll keep S and SS shorted, so that whatever value of VDS we will be getting, that is nothing but the value of VDSS, okay. So we'll keep this value of VDS varying, but it is positive. We will keep the value of VGS constant and it is positive. So we can say that the value of VGS is constant, but it is positive, okay. So we will say this is nothing but VGS. As we all know that as VDS value at the positive side, if I increase, then the value of the width of the junction towards the drain side will also increases. Then one question will come in your mind that if junction width ka value is increasing, then current should get decreased, right? But at the same time, if you notice that the value of the positive value is positive terminal of the battery is connected to the drain terminal, and the electrons which are migrated from the source to drain, not substrate to drain, right? So the current which is flowing from substrate to drain is zero, obviously. So that how it indicates that it's a reverse bias condition, okay. Now let's move towards the actual operation along with the characteristics of the MOSFET when your value of VGS is constant and positive greater than VTH, and I'm varying the value of VDS and I'm looking for the value of ID, okay. So if the value of VDS increases, as value of VDS increases, this junction width will also increases. So this junction width will start increasing, okay. At the same time, these electrons will get the attraction towards the 2 point. One is positive side of VGS and the positive side of the drain terminal, okay. So electron will get migrated towards the drain side, as well as electron will try to move towards the gate side, but oxide layer restricts the motion of the electron towards the gate side, okay, fine. But as this width of the junction increases, this will lead to change this particular width of the channel, right, towards the gate side. So I can say that if I increase the value of the VDS more and more positive, right, at till particular voltage, my value of the current will increase linearly, Okay, so value of the current will increase linearly, and as the current value increases, at the same time your width of the channel region towards the drain side will also decreases, and that particular reduction space is accommodated by this particular junction formed by drain and substrate interface. Okay, so this substrate and drain interface junction will increase, and this space is occupied towards the channel region as well. So that's why your channel will reduce its width towards the drain region, and ultimately what will happen, this junction width will be reach at one particular point where VDS is equal to VGS minus VTH. It is also called as VP, that is pinch off voltage. It is also called as VOV, that is overdrive voltage. Okay, now what happens exactly at that particular point? If I can say that your value of VDS is increasing, right? Value of VDS increasing, but the width of this channel, that means the space which is required for the electrons to move from channel region towards the drain side, is in decreasing and decreasing. As we all know that the electric field E is equal to V divided by D. That means voltage applied from one particular point to another, potential difference between these 2 points, and the difference between length between or width between these 2 points is nothing but the D. So here my value of V increasing, right, and the value of D is decreasing. So here my width is decreasing. Here I reach only at one particular point, right? So your D is very less, your V value is increasing, and that's why your electric field is very high. In the high electric field, what will happen? Electric field is high, right? Number of electrons which are jumping towards the drain side will increases, right? So I can say that here the value of the current will be constant ideally. I'm saying constant but ideally. Okay, but if you see this particular slope, this slope is very less, but it is not exact horizontal line. So practically there will be some value of the slope associated with this particular characteristics. So far we have discussed, we will reach at one particular point, and now that particular point we will be getting when VDS is equal to VP, right? And that particular point is called as pinch off point. Why it is called as a pinch off point? Because channel gets pinched off, right? Channel gets pinched off, and that's why at this particular point near the drain region and the channel drain interface, that particular point is called as pinch off point. Okay, now what will happen after pinch off point? All the electrons will move towards the drain region with constant velocity, right? So I can say that the current value from drain to source region will almost constant. Okay, so this current is called as saturation current. Okay, and whatever current is flowing before the pinch off point is called as linear current. Okay, so now we can easily find how your characteristics will look like for different values of VGS, but for particular values of VGS. So for example, we will say that this VGS is K1, Okay, if we reduce this value of VGS, then we'll get less value of the magnitude, but the nature of the slope of the output characteristics will be same. So here we will say that VGS is equal to K2 and so on. So here we will be getting VGS is equal to K3. Okay, so this is how we will be getting the output characteristics of the n-channel enhancement MOSFET. Okay, so far we have discussed the output characteristics. Let's move about the region of operation. Okay, so for that we will discuss VTC as well as the output characteristics in detail. So let's draw the VTC characteristics. As we all know that this is nothing but their VTC characteristics, where I can say that this is the value of the VTH. Okay, so this is for VDS is equal to K1, this is for VDS is equal to K2, and this is your VGS, this is your ID. Okay, as far as output characteristics are concerned, we have to keep the value of VGS constant, right? Now we will learn particular region of operation. This is your value of ID, this is your value of VDS, whatever region we will be getting where your current is constant, that means after which your current will not increase with a significant rate. So we will say that this region of operation is called as saturation region. Okay, this particular region of operation where your current is increasing linearly with respect to your value of VDS, that's why the region of operation is called as linear region, right? Moreover, this is also called as ohmic region, as Ohm's law is only valid for the linear characteristics of current and voltage, so that's why it is called as ohmic region, right? And this is also called as active region, right, where your value of the current is 0. So for example, here we have different values of VGS. If you remember, I have discussed with you that VGS value is constant, but it should be positive, more and more greater than that of VTH, that is threshold voltage at which your channel gets formed. So here the value of VGS is equal to K2, value of VGS is equal to K3, such that I will say the value of your value of K3 is less than K2 is less than K1. Now if you say that if I again try to reduce the value of VGS well below the value of threshold voltage, then I will not get the value of the current which should flow in your e-MOSFET. So this particular region of operation is called as cut-off region. Okay, so in the cutoff region, if we say in the cutoff region, we will be getting ID is equal to 0. I can say nearly equal to 0. In the saturation region, we will be getting ID which is nearly equal to constant. Okay, and in the saturation region, we will be getting ID is equal to constant, and in the linear region, we will be getting the ID is equal to increasing linearly. Okay, so these are nothing but the linear, saturation and the cutoff region as far as characteristics of MOSFET, e-MOSFET, n-channel e-MOSFET is concerned. Okay, so we will stop here, and in the next video lecture we will understand the characteristics as far as DC and AC characteristics are concerned. So watch this video, learn EDC2 more and more, and subscribe all the Ekeeda videos. Thank you very much.